Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we will tell the story of a man who has found himself in a strange love triangle. Join us as our main character shares his story. Greetings. I don't want to disclose my name, so I will use a pseudonym. Think of me as Lucas. I'm 26 years old and I'm married. But I'm cheating on my wife. I've been feeling terrible lately. I haven't experienced much remorse thus far, but now that I'm newly married, I don't want to persist in this way. I don't know about my mother-in-law's opinion on this, but this situation makes me feel bad. I have to make time for my beloved wife and I can't cheat on her anymore. I don't know what to do. My girlfriend's name is Hazel. Our families have known each other since our childhood. Hazel's parents are separated. Hazel was born into a very rich family. They usually hired a maid to clean the house. Hazel's mother, Mrs. Madison, looked better and dressed better than Hazel. It was like Hazel was her mother instead of the other way around. It was like a joke. Mrs. Madison married early, so she wasn't old. Hazel and I used to spend a lot of time together when we were kids. We used to go on trips together. Hazel was a beautiful girl, just like her mother. Like mother, like daughter. When we were kids, Hazel's mom would joke that we would get married when we grew up. We would laugh off. We were both focused on our education because it was a priority for us. We ended up having a relationship when we grew up. We decided to get married after we completed our education. I used to enjoy spending time with Hazel. We would sleep together occasionally and it was very enjoyable. I was happy to have her. She was the girl I was going to marry. I truly loved Hazel. She has been my partner in trouble since childhood. Growing up without a father made her very attached to me. She saw me as both a lover and a father figure. I wanted to give her the best of everything. Mrs. Madison was happy to see that. Despite being a widow, she rarely stayed at home. She was constantly out, partying with the boys as if she was a teenager. Hazel did not interfere. As long as she remained a good mother, everything was fine. Recently, my mom's been advising me to be cautious with Madison. Don't let her harm you, she warned. When me and Hazel were newly engaged, I used to drive Madison to and from work in my car. She wanted me to. Sometimes she got drunk and had a hard time getting home. I told Hazel and she said there was no problem. Her mother took care of me like her own child. At times, she would say, "I don't have a husband, but you play the roles of a husband, a son-in-law, and a son." When we were newly engaged, I sometimes stayed at Hazel's place. I would stay overnight in their house to ensure that the two women didn't feel uncomfortable being alone. Anyway, when I got married, I was going to stay with them at the request of her mother, Mrs. Madison. My workplace was close to their house anyway. One day, Mrs. Madison called me and revealed that she was drunk and didn't want daughter to witness it. She requested me to take her to a hotel. I went right away and when I saw her, she couldn't even stand up. I drove her to a hotel nearby. I insisted that she come home, but she said no. I took her to the hotel room and she lay down on the bed. I offered her a cigarette to help sober up and waited with her. I stayed her for, ensuring that no one would take advantage of her or steal her money. She ate some lemon, smoked a cigarette and was starting to sober up. She came up to me and said she wanted to sleep with me. I said, "You're drunk and not yourself, Madison, I understand." She said, "No, I'm not drunk and I need a relationship." I know what I'm saying. Do you know what it's like to go years without a husband? I couldn't say anything. We were silent for a while, and then Ms. Madison paused and took off her clothes. I tried not to look, but I was attracted to her body. I began to observe her more closely. She started approaching me and said, "Get up." I said, "Get up." I got up. First she hugged me. I didn't know what I was feeling. Hazel's mom was holding me naked. Then she kissed me on the throat, and I couldn't resist. We started making love. I had sex with her mother that night. It was more enjoyable than sex with Hazel. Whatever feelings she had accumulated over the years, they were mirrored in me. I didn't know what to tell Hazel. Her mom fell asleep. She was tired. Hazel started calling me at 3 a.m. and asked where I was. I said I was at home and trying to fall asleep. She asked whether I knew the whereabouts of her mother, to which I said no. But her mom was sleeping naked next to me. I said I could visit her if she was scared, but she didn't want to invite me. There were moments when I wished it hadn't happened. There were also moments when I was glad I had Hazel and her mom in my life. Her mother was a real beauty. I couldn't take my eyes off her. The next morning when we woke up, her mother stood up naked next to me and started getting dressed. I was lying down and smoking a cigarette. She turned to me and said, "What a night." I didn't comment on the night and said, "Don't let Hazel find out about it." "Don't worry, she won't hear, my son-in-law," she responded. I felt terrible that day. I didn't see Hazel that week. Mrs. Madison didn't call me either. The following week, I went to stay with them. Hazel was at work in Madison and I were left alone. She was in the kitchen doing something and I was in Hazel's room. "Come and eat, son," she said. I didn't really want to see her, but I was hungry. We sat down at the table. "Look, I understand that you haven't forgotten about me," she stated. I requested that we forget about what had happened. "I'm engaged to your daughter, I can't have this kind of relationship," I said. "Why not? Didn't you enjoy it?" she inquired. He wasn't taking me seriously and I didn't like it. "I enjoyed it too, and you have a beautiful body, but it doesn't work, you and me," I said, and also added that what had happened between us was embarrassing. "What a shame, dear, we were only together for one night, why are you making a big deal? If you say you didn't enjoy it, I'll be really upset," she said. As we finished our dinner, she went towards the door. She locked the door and came towards me. "How can you not like my beautiful body?" she said and took off her top. She looked beautiful naked. I couldn't stand it and we had sex again. As time passed, I found myself having sex more with Madison than with Hazel. I was starting to like it and I was happy to be in a relationship with someone older than me. Madison was like my wife now. I liked to have fun with her sometimes. She made herself look like an 18-year-old, and Hazel had no idea what was going on. If she knew, it would be over between us. She'd be so disappointed. She only has her mother, and I can't take that away from her. Hazel and I have been engaged for 2 years now and we're going to get married. For 2 years, I have been in a relationship with Hazel and her mother. I spend a lot of time at their house and me and Madison taken advantage of this situation when we are left alone. Her mother has been a widow for years and now she has chosen me instead of going out to have fun with other men. For 2 years she has been making me happy, but now I am getting married and I have to put an end to this. I am in a very bad situation. Now I will spend the rest of my life with Hazel. How can I explain to her this betrayal? I love Hazel very much, but her mother and I have become attached to each other. We can't break up. I am convinced that even if I don't see Madison for a while, I will still end up cheating on my wife with her. I'm increasingly bothered by this situation and I don't know how to resolve it.